So the way that white people are hurt by more immigration is because then the white people see less white people when they leave their house.
Yeah, you have to regulate the immigration so there's less.
So check this out.
I suppose that is kind of racist.
That's exactly what I was just going to get on to here. Take it away. Tell us how the hell you still support Trump, the worst president of your life.
Okay, so immigration, mainly, because I agree with deporting illegals. And, well, illegal immigrants. I don't want to just, like, call them illegals. That's kind of disrespectful. And I also agree with him on abortion.
All right, listen, man, we have people coming up here every day trying to tell us that they support Trump because of immigration. Because, I don't know, for whatever reason, a lot of people in the MAGA base think that immigration is the most defensible topic for the Trump administration. But, see, I just see the opposite to be true. I actually think that immigration has been one of Donald Trump's weakest points so far in his second administration. Because, A, I don't think that we should be deporting all undocumented immigrants. We saw a study from the Khalil Institute that tells us immigration over the last 30 years has prevented 3 recessions and has generated a financial surplus every single year. Not to mention they're more likely to actively participate in the labor force, less likely to be reliant on social welfare benefits, so on and so forth. But B, okay, what is underpinning Donald Trump's mass deportation of undocumented immigrants is an abuse of the law and abuse of the Constitution and abuse of human rights. We see the Trump administration giving illegal directives to ICE to arrest people without warrants, barge into people's houses without warrants, to racially profile people because they're black, because they're people of color, or because they speak English with a Hispanic accent. And we also see unaccompanied minors and undocumented immigrants being illegally deported with no due process to Sica and El Salvador, where they're being beaten and tortured. I just don't see how this is defensible in the slightest.
Well, I think those are actions necessary to take to get the illegal immigrants out, because when we let in all the mass deportations in, Biden let in I don't remember the amount, but it was millions of immigrants. And I think it's ruining the culture of America because it's replacing the people's identity. And I think those are actions
really just took
necessary
the
to take
words out
them
of my
out.
mouth. You know, the first thought that popped in my head when I heard you say, I think it's necessary to violate the law. I think it's necessary to ignore the Constitution. I think it's necessary to illegally deport them.
How does it ignore the Constitution?
Executive Order number 14160, where he tried to reclassify the U.S. citizens born to parents that are undocumented immigrants as undocumented immigrants themselves to then be deported. He violated the 14th Amendment, on top of many other things like the 5th Amendment, with directing ICE to arrest people with no judicial warrants. Yes, but let me finish speaking here. You took the words out of my mouth, because what I wanted to say here is you're telling us that it's necessary for him to do all these things to deport undocumented immigrants. So obviously you don't care about law and order because you think it's now necessary to break the law, including the law of the land. And you don't really care about the economy because you didn't even spend a moment, a syllable, responding to how I pointed out that mass deportation is harmful to the economy. It just kind of sounds like what underpins this belief here has to be bigotry, xenophobia, racism, so on and so forth. And that's kind of exactly what you said. You said that they're replacing our people. They're destroying the culture. They're eroding it all. Sir, tell me, what is American culture?
Well, American culture would be at a easy level would be baseball, cookouts, hamburgers. But I think that we used to have 80% white people in this country, and now it's 53%. And I'm not saying I don't like Mexican people.
He's just coming out.
I'm just saying,
swinging. He's really not hiding it. Yeah.
If we went to Haiti and replaced it with all white people, that'd be fucked up. So they shouldn't, sorry for cursing, but they shouldn't come to our nation and try to swap out our race. And this whole we're a melting pot thing is kind of stupid because we're 80% white back a couple decades ago. And having Mexicans here doesn't bother me. I just think we need to regulate the amount, because mass immigration, I don't think is a good thing. It's swapping our culture out. We used to have laws before 1965 and 1980 to let us. Sure, go ahead.
So if we were to go over to Haiti and forcefully replace them with white people, do you think that Haiti would be justified in expelling the white people to then replace them with other people that are Haitian?
Absolutely.
Okay, so because we forcefully replaced Texas and California with white people by stealing that land from Mexico, Mexico is actually justified not only in legally immigrating here, but actually forcing themselves into the country and then forcefully replacing the white people that do live in Texas and California with Mexicans.
Wait, hold on. We're replacing California with Mexicans?
Well, that's basically what your logic implies here. Not only, okay, would you be okay with legal immigration incentivized by one's own desire to be a part of this country, but you're actually okay with Mexico conquering Texas, with Mexico conquering California, and then systemically and forcefully replacing the white people that live in Texas and California with Mexicans.
Okay. So why should they should conquer us because they already are conquering us, first of all, because they're taking our nation.
Well, it
and
sounds
making
like they
Mexican.
actually have a really good justification for it, right?
No, they don't. We conquered that land.
Also, by
It's
the
not
way,
stolen,
I
it's
need to point
conquered.
this one out because obviously I'm just kind of using your own logic against here to make you like hold to some really absurd conclusion from your alt-right perspective. But the meat on the bone here, let's kind of
guess.
hop to that is, I think it's very like white supremacist rhetoric to sit here and argue that you're actually not okay with immigration of brown people into America purely because they're brown and you think that therefore they're replacing white people. You know, we see study after study that demonstrates that not only does, a white supremacy cost us the moral fabric of our country, but it also legitimately costs us a fiscal loss, okay? Because guess what? Immigration is beneficial to America. It builds our economy. It reduces our crime rates, okay? It gives more funding to our government to better fund social safety nets, to better equip the low and middle
They don't
class
pay taxes.
with
How
what
do they
need
fund our
to live.
government?
They actually do pay taxes. Undocumented immigrants
Illegals pay
specifically
taxes.
pay over $100 billion per year.
Illegals pay taxes. They're not registered.
Yes.
But they're not. How do they pay taxes if they're not registered?
With the use of ITINs, individual taxpayer identification numbers. I wouldn't expect a white supremacist to know this. You guys
I actually didn't know that. You just educated me. Thank you.
Maybe I could educate you, of course. And that's not the only way that they give our government money, okay? Because we also have to consider their indirect contributions to taxable revenue, because the American Immigration Council tells us that they indirectly generate 1.2 through 1.7 trillion dollars per year via their activity and engagement in the American labor force.
Okay, so they pay for the economy, but that economy is going to be under a government that doesn't have its same nation, because our nation is a predominantly white, black, like the black Mexicans are minorities nation.
The nation
And
of
I'm
the
not
United States
saying
of
that
America
we.
is not attached to one race. It's not attached to one identity.
You're right. It's not attached to
sex.
one
It's
race,
not
but
attached
that
to one
was the
gender,
predominant
right?
race.
And
It needs to
we
stay
are
that way.
we are a multicultural democracy. And in fact, America is so good because of its multiculturalism. If it was not for immigration,
Oh, really?
If it was not for the melting pot, if it was not for the individualistic backgrounds from people in countries across this world in all four corners, okay? Right? I want to doubt if you're a flat earther too. I'd expect that.
Okay, I like the insults.
We've been
yeah.
great. Our economy's been built. Our people have prospered. And I think that our people
You're right,
deserve
the
to
railroads.
prosper even more than they already do, which is why we should endorse more immigration than we already have.
No. So what you're
Are you
referencing
scared of
is
brown people?
They built. No, I'm not. They built
It
the
sounds
economy,
like it.
right?
It sounds
They
like you're
built
scared
the-
of brown people.
They built the economy. You're correct. They created the railroads, the Chinese and Irish immigrants. However, I don't have a problem that they're brown, and I don't have a problem that they're immigrating. I have a problem that they're immigrating in mass amounts. Because
You
before
literally said that your problem is that they're brown
in
because they're
1980,
reducing the amount of white
because
people
there's too
in
many of
America.
them. There's too many. We
No,
need
you
to
straight up
restrict
said,
them.
one moment, you straight
Like
up said the
before
issue that you
1980.
have is the fact that the overall amount of white people in the country is being proportionately reduced. Why is that a problem?
Because it's no longer their identity. It's no longer the
So
identity.
you're saying that a part of the core identity of America is whiteness.
Yes, absolutely. It's unequivocal. It is.
Buddy.
Absolutely.
Buddy, America wouldn't exist if it wasn't for black people. I mean, you have 250 years of free labor through forced chattel slavery to thank for the
I
White
didn't
House,
say we removed black
to thank for
people.
the railroads, okay, to thank for the infrastructure, to thank for the economy. So you're already wrong, and all that you need to know to understand why you're wrong is a 7th grade level curriculum on American history. Are you like, is this a joke? Right? Is this like a joke? I mean, it's so crazy. You know, like, of course, I could sit here and give you about a billion other like ideas and points for the next hour about how, no, it's not a part of America's core identity to be white. But I mean, that one just happens to be a really good example. And just to let you know, the reason why you think the way you do is because you do not have I don't know, what's a good word here? Flourishing self-image of yourself. You don't have a good self-image. You don't have a lot of self-confidence. You don't think that you have a lot of worth. So the way that you cope with this fact isn't to go to therapy and maybe, I don't know, talk to a professional about this, but is to rather project these same insecurities onto those around you and to say, well, guess what? I am by default more important than those around me because of the color of my skin. And if you don't share the same color of skin, if you're not white, then you are less important than me because you do not fall under the identity of what it means to be an American. If you are not white, then you don't matter as much as me because I have more of a right to be here than you. If you're not white, then ultimately you're less valuable than me. It's this entitlement to importance that you have created out of thin air, out of nothingness, to make yourself feel better about your own lack of self-worth. And it's disgusting. It is so disgusting.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think they're less of people. We're all created in the image of God. We're all equal. However, I think that they shouldn't be coming in mass amounts and replacing the identity. I don't hate them. I don't think they shouldn't exist.
What
I
is
just
the
don't think they should
material bad
replace us.
outcome of more brown people immigrating to America? How does it materially harm our country?
It doesn't. Okay, so they would be ruling the country, and it would not be bad for them. You're correct. But it wouldn't be the same nation. It'd be a great nation. Wouldn't be better than it is now. But it wouldn't be the same nation as before. Wouldn't be the same identity.
Yeah.
I don't care if Irish people take over America.
One moment. You're just saying words. Consequential of your original claim that you think a part of America's core identity is whiteness, which I've already disputed and proven you wrong, leaving you gagged. But I'm not asking for words. I'm asking for an argument to describe, the materialistic outcome of more immigration that is harmful to this country. Can you specify one singular material way, that more immigration actually hurts this country?
There'd be less of us white people, and we wouldn't be the majority.
Once again, how does that hurt the country? Materially.
Well, I suppose it doesn't hurt the government and the country, but it hurts the people, the white people.
How does that hurt the white people in the country?
Because it's no longer our country. It's ruled by somebody else.
So what do you mean it's no longer, one moment. What do you mean it's no longer our country? Like, what is the material outcome? Because these are, once again, just words. I want you to tell me the material outcome, okay? How is more immigration of non-white people going to materially hurt me? How is it going to materially hurt you? Be very specific.
Well, I mean, I've told you, if there's less white people, it's no longer our nation. I feel like that's such a hard concept to grasp.
No longer our nation. That's not a material harm. Once again, it's just rooted within that same original claim that you made that part of America's core identity is whiteness, which I've already disputed and proven you wrong on. But this isn't a form of material
harm. How
did
you dispute it?
Tell me. Oh yeah, by pointing out the fact that we wouldn't have this nation without
they built the economy, but they were still the minority when they built the economy.
Now I want you to tell me, how am I going to be hurt?
Well, I suppose you wouldn't be hurt in the economic if you don't have an issue with it being not a white country, then it doesn't hurt you.
So white people are not going to be hurt. So one moment. So white people are not going to be hurt economically. One moment. So white people are not going to be hurt economically, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
Nothing would change in an economic sense.
Are white people going to be hurt, let's see here, socially?
Yes.
How?
Because we wouldn't be the predominant race. There'd be other people there. And, well, if you don't take issue with it, then it doesn't hurt you.
No, I'm asking you how that hurts me.
Well, you don't care if it's predominantly brown.
But I'm just asking you, how does that hurt me?
Okay, I take issue with it.
Oh, so it only hurts you if you care?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to be hurt?
Not necessarily.
Therefore, you should stop caring?
No, because I want it to be predominantly white.
Okay, so why do you care?
Well, because the cultures are different, and I wouldn't be the same culture I'm surrounded in.
So cultures are different. Okay, so what's white culture in America?
If the culture turned into Mexico, then it wouldn't be the same nation.
One moment. So what? Okay, once again, we're just going to go back to American culture. Tell me what American culture is.
American culture would be the American dream, which is a suburban white picket fence, cul-de-sac, middle class job.
Okay. So job that pays good money so you can buy a house.
Correct.
Okay, so a part of American culture is a prosperous economy.
I know the point's going to be
Wait, so you just said that a part of American culture is a good job that pays you enough money to buy a house. Okay, for you and your family.
Correct, the American dream.
Okay, and that's going to be easier to achieve given a prosperous economy for the working class. And you told us that more immigration would actually be beneficial to the economy, which would be more conducive towards the end goal of a prosperous economy for the working class, which would be more conducive towards the end goal of building American culture in the sense of apparently giving people more money to go out and buy a house for them and their family. So you just described to me how more immigration into this country will actually help galvanize American culture.
But there's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. Legal immigration.
One second, we're not talking about any type of distinction between legal and illegal immigration in this conversation whatsoever. We're talking about how more immigration into this country is going to hurt what you call American culture. And so far, you've only described to us how more immigration into this country helps galvanize and build American culture. So tell me once again, what is American culture in the relevant senses that would be hurt by more non-white immigrants coming into this country?
I suppose you're correct, because it would fund the economy, which would therein lie help the American dream, which is the middle class labor, which would You're low-key right, but then it wouldn't be white.
But once again, you told me that the way that it would hurt us to lose a white majority in this country would be an erosion of American culture. So in order to justify that premise, you'd have to tell me what American culture is and how it is hurt by more immigration.
Well, American culture is, well, it's like when you go down like the street of a suburban neighborhood. That's what it is. That's American culture.
Okay,
Is prosperity, whiteness. Like our sports
so you're telling me that like it would hurt American culture because you'd see less white people when you go outside?
Yes. Yeah. What's so funny?
Okay, so the way that white people are hurt by more immigration is because then the white people see less white people when they leave their house.
Yeah, you have to regulate the immigration so there's less.
So check this out.
I suppose that is kind of racist.
That's exactly what I was just going to get onto here. That one's very clear because you're telling us that you are hurt when you go outside and you see a non-white person, and you are not hurt when you go outside and you see a white person. The only relevant distinction here would be the race of the person that you see. That's racism.
Shit. Yeah, you're low-key right.
Yes.
And then I can't be racist because I'm a Christian, so I should just like agree with legal immigration mass. Yeah, you're low-key right.
Dude, are we changing the mind of like an alt-right like crazy right now?
You are, actually, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's insane. Holy shit, dude.
Well, no one ever challenges like Nick Fuentes, so it's like I never really got like the opposition to that. Like,
yeah. See, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there like Nick Fuentes that will hop on the mic, stream from their basement, and tell you to be scared of people that aren't white, to hold disdain towards people that aren't white, to center white people and white people first. And you're right. This mindset, this worldview is absolutely and completely antithetical to the view that is true of Christianity. Because not only was Jesus not a white man, okay, and he's the only perfect human that's ever lived,
right, he's
but
Eastern.
Through Christianity, we're taught virtues of inclusivity, we're taught virtues of loving thy neighbor and inviting thy stranger, and not holding these unjust prejudices. So, yeah, I think it's great that you're starting to open your mind. You should really reconsider your views. Nick Fuentes is awful. Please don't listen to him. He also defends pedophiles.
So you think that mass legal immigration is correct? So, but illegal immigration, that really, you were right that it does. They pay taxes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And what did you say it's through? Like TDF?
So undocumented immigrants pay over $100 billion in taxes per year on the local, state, and federal level, according to the IRS. And they pay those taxes with the use of ITINs because of a work program that Obama opened under his administration, allowing undocumented immigrants to get a work permit to go to work.
So then what's the whole point with kicking illegals out if they're paying taxes and they're working jobs legally?
Well, that's the thing. There really is no point because there's no legitimate service to the country. It doesn't help us to do a mass deportation. But of course, we can agree, obviously, for undocumented immigrants that have violent criminal crimes on their record or pretty insidious nonviolent criminal offenses, they should either be thrown in jail or deported. No one really disagrees there. And I'd say that the solution here for undocumented immigrants would be to offer them a pathway to residency or citizenship so they could just stay in the country because that's going to be the most beneficial to them and the most beneficial to us.
I think I agree with you on immigration now. You want to switch it to abortion? You low-key changed my mind. I'm going to keep it a buck.
Dude, it's just so crazy that I was able to help change your mind there. It just almost makes me think that you might be trolling. Are you trolling about this?
I'm not. I'm 1,000% not.
Yeah, I don't.
I watched Nick Fuentes and stuff, and I didn't really get the counter opposition to that. And then I didn't know that they paid taxes or not. I was under the false pretense that they didn't.
I'm probably speaking for a lot of people watching her now. It's just it's so insanely rare to see somebody change their mind on these topics that it comes off as a troll. But I don't know. I don't think that you are trolling. Because of the talking points and arguments that you're running. I feel like you'd only know all those talking points and arguments to a T and be able to launch them so fast in response to, the positions I gave that you'd have to actually believe them. So, we're making progress here, so that's good. Yeah, we could talk about abortion.
All right. I think that it should be illegal, like federally. I like that Trump makes it to the state because I know a lot of people don't agree with that, and I like support a democracy. But in my perfect worldview, it would be completely illegal, even in the terms of rape, incest, and yeah.
Illegal. Okay. Yeah, that's also an insane view. Wow. Okay. Yeah, bunch of insane views from this guy today. Where do I want to start? And why do you think it should be illegal?
I think it should be illegal because you're killing something that has potential to be a life. It has very high potential that's going to be a life one day, even if it's a fetus currently. And I think that's wrong. And I have personally friends that like were going to be aborted and they were like products of rape. And I hate that they were almost not in my life. So I completely disagree with that worldview that it's the child's fault that the father's an asshole.
Okay. And do you think that you get this view from Christianity at all?
I would say that most of my positions are defensible from a non-Christian standpoint.
Okay. Okay.
But
let's run that.
yeah.
Okay. Let's start with abortion in circumstances of rape, because you could be pro-life, and you could think that victims of rape should be able to access abortion for the following reason: they were forced into sex, they were forced into pregnancy, and they were forced in having that fetus reliant on their bodily resources and domicile in their uterus for continued survival. They should not be continued to be forced into giving domicile in their uterus and access to their bodily resources to that fetus to keep it alive, even if revoking those means would cause the fetus to die. Let me give you a hypothetical here that we could wrap into this conversation.
Okay.
Okay? You make just enough money to get by and survive for yourself, just enough money to buy food to feed yourself. And for the next 9 months, you know that in the middle of the night, somebody's going to walk through your front door and steal half the food off your shelves to feed themselves. Now, this is going to be very damaging to yourself. Okay? It's going to physically hurt you. It's going to mentally hurt you because of malnutrition. And there's even a 3% chance that at the end of these 9 months, you are going to die from starvation. Now, all you have to do to prevent this other person from stealing half of your food is to lock your front door at night. Then they won't be able to come in. But if you were to lock your front door at night, they're not going to have food anymore, so they're going to starve to death.
They're going to die. 100% they're going to die.
Yes. Do you think that you should be within your legal ability to lock your front door at night?
Well, you see the other person has free will in that scenario. The baby has no free will inside of you. If I force that person to be in the predicament to where they have to come into my house and steal my food, then of course I wouldn't lock my door and I shouldn't be able to. If I force them into the predicament to have to do that.
But what if you didn't?
Well, oh, I see. That's the rape argument. Or grape, sorry. But it's completely different with a baby because you're forcefully killing them. And the whole thing is that
actually, the thing is that the abortion pill that could be used before 14 weeks doesn't kill the fetus.
Right.
It simply cuts the fetus off from access to the resources by denying it progesterone.
That still kills it. It's not alive.
Yeah, it leads to the death of the fetus, just like locking your front door in this hypothetical would lead to the death of the burglar.
Okay, so we're using like stupid hypothetical, but the fact of the matter is,
it's really not a stupid hypothetical. What we're doing is we're mirroring the logic, okay, that underpins why I think a victim of rape should be able to access abortion, to why we both agree that in this hypothetical, you should be within your legal ability to lock your front door at night.
Well, there's more extremes when it comes to the child because there's a kid inside you and you shouldn't kill it. You're like in your right mind, you know that it's going to be a kid one day and you're still terminating it and stopping it from progressing to become a child.
In your right mind, you know it's going to be a person like you or I one day. Okay, well, this burglar in the hypothetical that's reliant on your food from your shelves in your pantry is a person like you or I, and we agreed that you should be within your legal ability to lock your front door at night, denying them access to those resources, even if it leads to their death.
Yeah, I agree that the government shouldn't be able to step in there, but that's a whole nother separate issue because it's your own private domicile.
Can't we agree that somebody's body is more private and personal to themselves than somebody's home?
Well, they bought the home, you didn't buy your own body, and they bought the food, and you're just putting it in your...
Which, if anything, makes it more private and personal to you.
Well, I see the government outreach point in that, and like the government shouldn't be able to decide it. But at the same time, you're killing it.
Is that in circumstances of rape, you don't think that the government should be able to restrict a victim of rape's access to abortion?
They should be able to restrict it. Because
why
it's
should they be able
murder.
to
It's
restrict
murder.
the
There's a
victim of rape
difference.
access to abortion, but they shouldn't be able to restrict your ability to lock your front door at night in this hypothetical, even if it leads to the death of the burglar? Because in both circumstances, a valuable life is dying under your view.
Well, well, then the government you shouldn't be allowed to lock your door. Well, there's a difference there because the burglar could kill you in your sleep. The burglar could kill you in your sleep, and the burglar is outside of your family.
If we were to posit here that there's a 3% chance that the burglar could kill you in your sleep, would you argue that you should be legally allowed to lock your front door?
Well, I see the argument here, but there's a C-section. You can do a C-section.
Like, answer the question here. If there's a 3% chance that burglar could kill you in your sleep, should you be able to lock your front door?
Yeah, but we're not.
There's a 3% chance that a pregnancy could kill a woman.
So there's a baby in the woman's womb, and it's just gonna kill her. Like, you can't do a C-section.
There's a 3% chance that you could just die from it. Yeah,
and that includes. So if you have the C-section, you're gonna die 3% of the time you have a baby.
So in many scenarios, people don't even learn about the life-threatening conditions of a pregnancy until after they die. Of course, there is preventive care to catch it in many circumstances. But that preventive care is not always practical. It's not always present. It's not always caught. This is why 3% of pregnant women, even in consideration of this preventative care to prevent death, still die.
So it is 3%. But where's the statistic on that?
I think that comes from the NIH, and I think that's the most conservative estimate as well. I think the more specific estimate is 3 to 5%.
I see the logic here. But where do you think the line should be drawn, like in terms of weeks?
Well, I mean, we could talk about that as soon as we get off the topic of legal access at all for victims of rape.
You know, I think I agree with you now because they were forced to have to give up the resources that they eat in their body to the baby. I think I do. Yeah, I think you flipped my idea on the whole rape thing. Are we allowed to say the actual word now? Because I heard you say it once or twice.
Yeah, I think so. I think we could say rape on TikTok. I don't think that we could have said rape a year ago. I think that we can say it now.
Okay. So, yeah, because you're right. They're forcing you because another dude raped you, and then you're forcing to give up part of your resources. And I see the hypothetical argument there and the government outreach shouldn't be able to. I mean, if I think if the mother shouldn't do it, but the government outreach part is where it trips me up, and like the government shouldn't be able to tell you not to. Can we get to like the weeks thing? Like, where do you think the line should be drawn? Because I'm pretty sure you and Parker have different views on that, right? Because I saw the Charlie Kirk debate, and it was like,
yeah. So on for elective abortions, not in circumstances of rape, not in circumstances where the mother's life is threatened, I think that they become immoral at around 20 weeks, 20 through 24 weeks. However, a conversation of when it should be illegal, if it should be made illegal at all, is a whole other conversation that isn't really made on immorality, but rather made on practicality and real-world outcomes. So if we want to start with a conversation about immorality, the reason why I don't think that elective abortions are immoral before 20 through 24 weeks is because I don't think that the fetus has any ability to deploy any level of sentience or consciousness whatsoever. And it's only at around that 20 through 24 week point that the fetus gains the ability to deploy these low-level first-person subjective experiences due to the formation of the thymocortical connections.
Okay, I just wanted to establish your whole where you think the week should be drawn. Because I mean, I conceded to the rape thing, but I still think that abortion in general is wrong, past a certain point. But I would say that even in a non-rape abortion, or even incest, I think should be legal or illegal. But they're gonna be a kid one day, so even at a 6-week point, I think you shouldn't be able to, because it's gonna be a life one day. We sit here and we argue that it's not sentient right now, but eventually it is going to be.
I agree that eventually it will be if everything stays on track. Of course, that's only a likely prediction. It's not a certain outcome. But I don't think that this changes the fact that I don't give it more value. Here's the way that I think about it. We don't really give people rights based upon what traits they could have in the future. We don't say that 15-year-olds should be able to go buy beer because eventually one day they'll be 21. We say no, you have to be 21 first before you could buy beer. We don't say that 12-year-olds can consent to sex because eventually they're going to be 18. No, we say they have to be 18 first before you could consent to sex. We don't say that 9-year-olds could drive because eventually they'll be 16. No, we say that they actually have to be 16 first before they could drive. So I don't really understand the position like this unicellular human zygote should have the right to life because eventually they're going to be sentient and conscious. No, they should actually have to have the ability to deploy those low levels of sentience or those low levels of consciousness before we give them that right to life.
Yeah, sorry for my dog barking, but I see it's the extreme of life or death. Like, I see the whole point that we don't give people predetermined rights based on what they'll do in the future. I get the whole 9-year-old can't drive because you're saying, yeah, I get it. But the extremes of life or death are just like insane because you're going to kill it based on the fact that it's not a person yet, but it can be. It's a difference between a right or not because they're not sentient, conscious enough to make a decision like driving or drinking.
I think that it's more extreme to deny a woman access to abortion than it is to kill a fetus.
Really? You think so?
Yes.
One's
Because
murder, one's just like a minor inconvenience.
In the denial of a woman's access to abortion, you are stripping her of her right to bodily autonomy with no good reason for 9 months, plus the follow-up pain and trauma from childbirth, mentally and physically, that will extend over the course of their life with parental/financial obligations. So I definitely argue here that, A, no, it's not a minor inconvenience, and you'll prove that claim wrong to yourself one day if you ever want to become a father and you have a wife that you care about and you're attentive to. And then B, it's definitely significantly more of a quote-unquote inconvenience to deny a woman access to abortion than it is to kill a fetus. Because, like I said, I mean, that fetus doesn't have any subjective experiences whatsoever. I mean, it doesn't have a mind, it doesn't have sentience, it doesn't have consciousness. It's merely a biological life form that sure exists as a member of our same species, but not to the same extent of being able to rationally explore the world around us to any level whatsoever.
Well, killing it is definitely more extreme than having to go through bodily autonomy.
Why is it wrong to
trauma.
end biological life? Like, I don't actually think it's wrong to end biological life. We only think that it's wrong to end life, not because we're killing cells, but rather because we're ending a person's experiences. Can we agree?
Because they're sentient.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing...
Killing a cell isn't bad.
There's nothing innately wrong in killing cells. All right? You know, we kill like 400 trillion cells, bacteria cells, every time we brush our teeth. I don't care about cells. I care about people. I care about experiences. I care about the ability to interact in the world around you. Now... And I agree that experiences and personhood and the existence of a mind are so valuable that I will start to value the life of that fetus the moment it has the ability to deploy any level of experiences. Like the level of experiences that the fetus has, that the fetus can deploy at 20 through 24 gestational weeks is so low. But I still value it so much because it finally has that ability to deploy the experiences. But before that, like, no, it's just cells, dude. Like, a good example of this view would be like a brain dead patient. Like, a brain dead patient is fully human. A brain dead patient is fully biologically alive. Okay? But we don't rip our eyeballs out and scream genocide in consideration to the fact that every year there's around 100,000 brain dead patients who have their lives intentionally ended by medical professionals by revoking them from access to life support, even though that is an example of a biological human life being ended.
Well, we shouldn't pull the plug. That shouldn't happen. Like, you shouldn't kill brain dead people.
So what should we do? We should just let their body rot? Like, what's the alternative there?
Yeah, you wait till they die.
You just let their body rot.
Yeah, you wait till they die.
Like, what is valuable about a brain dead patient?
Well, every life is valuable. They're alive.
And this goes back to God?
Well, it does, but my positions are defensible.
I don't think that you have a position defensible through the lens of Christianity to deny women access to abortion legally. I don't think that there's a single
my position isn't through
defend
Christianity.
that. Okay, so then don't mention God. Why is the life of a brain dead patient valuable whatsoever?
You're right. I did mention God. Sorry. But because it's a life. It's a life. It shouldn't be terminated. Life has value.
Why?
I think that's just that's a very normal thing.
Why does it have value?
Like, back to the cell thing.
Like, tell me, why does it have value?
Well, I feel like I have to divert to Christianity there. Because that just goes into my basis.
That ultimately, your position is only defensible given Christianity, right?
No, because I think the cells do have value. If you don't do, if you kill, because if you kill if you kill a cell with intentionally, that's wrong. Intentionally, like a live cell, because live cells make up live things. Not live cells make up not live things. So you shouldn't be able to kill cells.
Do you think it's wrong when you brush your teeth because you commit a genocide of 400 trillion cells?
Yeah, you're right. That was stupid.
like, what are we doing here? No, the mitochondria is not a soul, man.
I don't think so. But yeah, you're right. I do have to divert to Christianity. The whole cell thing, that was kind of stupid. I don't even know why I said that.
Yes, you have to. Okay, what branch of Christianity do you follow?
I'm a Lutheran.
You're a Lutheran. Okay, so just to clarify here, that's like Reformed, right?
No.
Do you believe in a magisterium?
Elaborate.
Like, do you think that like the church has normative authority, or are you sola scriptura? You just read the Bible and you take away from the Bible?
I read the Bible.
Okay, perfect. So, the more common view of like Protestants would be that all sins are identical in the eyes of God outside of blasphemy. Is that a belief that you hold?
All sins are identical. Sure, yeah.
Do you think that it should be illegal to lie to your child about the existence of Santa Claus? Tell them that Santa Claus exists.
Well, I'm not a Christian nationalist, so no.
Okay, perfect. So how can you sit here and tell me that it should not be illegal to sin in the sense of telling your child a lie, but it should be illegal to sin in the sense of getting an abortion, when you acknowledge that those two sins are identical in the eyes of your perfect divine standard of morality?
I see the connection because I have to defend it with God, and both sins are equal. So if one's illegal, one should be illegal. One's illegal, one should be legal. I see the point, and then I can't defend abortion from a non-religious standpoint. So if I'm not going religiously, then I'd have to be wrong.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then, so yeah, I think I agree with you. Before sentience, they should be able to terminate it. I think you just turned me into a liberal, Dean.
I think there's a lot more work to be done. We've been talking now for 55 minutes, and I think that we've made a lot of progress in the last 55 minutes for sure. But 55 minutes is not enough time to go from crazy racist white supremacist to liberal. I'm going to be honest. But
you think so? Oh, I wouldn't say liberal. That was a little extreme. But I think you're kind of right with the sentient thing and the whole racist thing. Well, not racist, but it kind of does tie in the whole Nick Fuentes like talking point that I gave about like immigration coming in mass amounts, whereas brown people shouldn't. They fund the economy, and it shouldn't matter to walk outside and see a brown person or a white person, and they don't really like. I do see the point. Like I swear I'm not trolling. I just got into politics recently, and I don't think,
dude, listen, I actually don't think that you're trolling. I understand why there's people that are calling you a troll just because of like how insane the nature of this conversation is. I've never seen this happen before. I'm just gonna be honest. I've never seen what has happened in the last 55 minutes happen before, and I've been doing these debates on TikTok for 4 hours a day for the last like 3 years. So I understand why people are saying that because of just how insane this is. But I don't think that you're a troll. I think that this is real. Well, listen, I wish you the very best of luck in your journey in politics. I really appreciate you for joining, and continue to explore the world around you in critical thought. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Sweet.